All right, here we go. Carver and Cuthbert with you. Go Sports Radio. Live from Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island as we get you ready here on a Thursday. Huge weekend ahead. NFL divisional round of the playoffs, college football championship Monday night. Coaching news, especially here in the New York area. What an effort by the Rangers last night at the Garden. Man, nothing like getting smashed at home by the Ottawa Senators.
I told you.
You're right.
I told you.
I really thought you'd get a little bit of a better effort out of them.
Tried to warn you, Mike.
But that did not happen. Did not happen for the Strangers last evening. Mike Carver with you, along with Paul Cuthbert. Paul, how you doing?
Good afternoon. Happy Thursday, buddy. Here we are.
Happy Thursday indeed. Here we are.
I said winter was over yesterday. I think came back a little bit today.
Yeah, you were. That was definitely a little premature, going with the winter's over stuff. That is definitely not going to be the case here at all for this. But it is a glorious day, Paulie, if you are a fan of the New York Football Giants.
Woohoo!
We've talked about it for a while. It has been said, it has been known that when somebody of the caliber of John Harbaugh became available, that the New York Giants had to do anything and everything in their power to make sure that it happens. And sure enough, it did. Obviously, it was late last night. If you put your head on the pillow a little early, you woke up to some good news. And that is that Harbaugh is going to be the Giant coach. They're still finalizing some things in his contract, but that's really just going to be dotting I's and crossing T's and things like that. He has canceled any other interviews and visits that he was going to do. He is going to be the next coach of the Giants. You are the Giant fan, so you've got to be excited. You've got to be very happy.
I mean, obviously, until I see the official press conference and all that other stuff.
Well, you think that's not good till he gets up there, until you see him in the suit next to the Mara family and the Tisch family? You're not going to believe it?
Got to put the hat on, See Dart next to him, Scatterbo, all that stuff.
Well, believe it or not,
the contract sounds amazing, though.
I've read a lot about. Well, he's going to be one of the highest paid coaches,
$100 million maybe
in the NFL, which I don't have a problem with, and you shouldn't if you're a Giant fan. You should have no problem if he's one of the 3 or 5 highest paid coaches. I don't know if he should be the highest, but being one of the top 3 or 5 paid highest coaches in the NFL, not an issue, because as we said, this is about more. This is about getting this franchise back to respectability, getting this franchise back to credibility, getting this franchise back to winning ways. You are talking about a franchise that is one of the pillars of the NFL that over the last 10 plus years has had dealt with the Ben McAdoo's and the Pat Shurmurs and the Joe Judge and Brian Daboll and a lot of losing seasons they have dealt with. And now you bring in a guy that has won a Super Bowl. He knows how to run a franchise. He knows how to run a team. People will now start the hole poking, which you can't do. Well, he's not a good X's and O's guy. He's a delegator. That's what the Giants need. They need someone who is a football delegator and who can run a football team. And that is what they have now. I think it's a brilliant move by them. It sounds like Joe Schoen was very much a part of this.
Yeah.
And you know what? Good for him if that's the case. That's stepping in the good part, stepping in good, because I thought that he would come in and want his own guy. And that doesn't Harbaugh could play nice for a while and then, as time goes on, say, hey, guys, get rid of this guy.
Well, they're talking about a 5-year deal. So, I mean, he could
change things. Just know this, even though Joe Schoen's still the general manager of the New York Giants, John Harbaugh runs the New York Giants now. Joe Schoen, I got bad news for him. He works for John Harbaugh now, not the other way around. Okay. And it's good that Harbaugh, it sounds like from all these meetings they have, and I saw pictures of him at the restaurant in New Jersey yesterday, and everybody smiles. Shane was there. Chris Mara was there. Everybody smiles with Harbaugh. That's good. It's a good thing that he's got already, nice little starting relationship with Harbaugh. And man, what a day for your Giant fan. It really is huge.
I'm looking forward to hearing him and what he has to say, and ultimately why he's coming to the Giants.
Right.
Can't wait to hear the different factors that have made it.
Yeah.
Confirmed that canceling to see and visit other teams and all that other stuff. Obviously, money talks and everything, but I'm sure, like I said, it'd be interesting if he talks about the Giants, if he talks about the, the franchise,
Yeah.
and the, coming to New York and everything else and the challenge.
I think you're going to hear all of those things from him when he has the big introductory press conferences, as Mike and the Mad Dog used to say back in the day, whenever a team would have the carving board ceremony, everybody would come out, the big spread for the media, the carving board, everything. They'll have their big introductory press conference with him. And I think you'll hear him say all of those things, the prestige of the franchise, the New York Giants, the Mara and Tisch family, and then let's talk about actually on the field, having a young quarterback that's going into his second season, having other pieces around him. That is really it. These are all the things you're going to hear Harbaugh say as to why. I saw one story this morning how he said, he kind of knew a couple days after getting fired that this was it seemed like that was the team that he felt was going to be right for him from a lot of aspects. So this all sounds great. Obviously, it's a huge moment. You got to win now.
Yeah.
Got to win. And you've got to turn this franchise back to what it once was, one of the best franchises in the league. And that is now Harbaugh's responsibility to go and do that. And I think that he will, Paulie, to be quite honest with you. I think that Harbaugh, in short order, can turn this team around. I saw someone also compare it like to the Patriots getting Vrabel this past offseason and how he's turning around. Young quarterback, Drake Meggs, actually, young quarterback, Jackson Dart. Like there's a path to make this a fairly quick upswing for the Giants. And I think that's another thing you'll hear Harbaugh say when he tells you about why he took this job is there's potential for this team to immediately go up significantly in the number of wins that they have had.
Yeah. And like I said, the assets are there. The division isn't that strong either. Yeah. So he's got a chance.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's some look.
It's not that strong either. Division. It's not a strong division.
It's the NFC East, it's still,
dude,
I know Washington
get into the playoffs now.
Washington,
8-9 record.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on.
Look, Washington obviously fell off this year. Washington was in the NFC title game this year, and they have a young quarterback in Jaden Daniels. The Cowboys are the Cowboys. The Eagles still just won the Super Bowl last year, despite what just happened with them. There are other divisions I think that I would put in the easier pot before the NFC East.
Yeah.
But I don't care who you're in a division with. You're paid. You're going to be paid handsomely to go and win games and be the guy. Now,
he's going to be successful here. It's going to happen.
I believe that. And look, we have to let it play out. Nobody likes to put the cart before the horse, as they say, but I really do liken this to how, and I think I might have mentioned this to you yesterday, I do liken it to how they turned to Tom Coughlin to kind of, turn their franchise around and I really do look at it in that aspect. And that's the kind of hire that this is. I mean, you look at some of these guys that were in here before. I mean, Dable went 20-40-1. Joe Judge went 10-23. Pat Shurmur went 9-23. Ben McAdoo went 13-15.
McAdoo.
That is a long stretch of misery right there. A very long stretch.
The other thing too is Dart's got to stay healthy. Scadaboo's ankle's got to come back strong. Neighbors has got to come back strong. You've got three young guys here with big injuries, or, I know Dart didn't go down, but, the concussion issues, in the season and, how he, Harbaugh's got to protect him.
Yeah.
He's got the skill set, man. The kid's made for the team, made for New York. Mm-hmm. Good stuff. And I think Scadaboo too could be that too. But if you just, I guess that could happen on any given Sunday, as the old term says,
both.
Harbaugh's not going to go into this. I guess, obviously he's a pro, I'm just thinking like, just in terms of where the Giants are looking back at this season here. And, I've been boasting, like I said, they got such a great young core here that there is a good future for them, but they're also a couple of big injuries away from being in a tough spot.
And everybody is, and the Giants do have some guys that have shown that they need to stay healthy. I mean, after a few years now, it's there for Malik Neighbors. Like he needs to stay healthy. Like he's been hurt a lot. Scadaboo's only been here for 1 year, but he got hurt. Andrew Thomas is a great left tackle. He never plays. There are things that injury wise do need to kind of go in their favor too. And sometimes that's luck for a team in a year of getting sometimes it's better to be lucky in the injury department and trying to get to the end. I think it's cool that Dart and Scadaboo were there yesterday to meet Harbaugh, and obviously specifically Dart being there to meet him and talk with him. And it's all things that kind of link to this moment. And it's a new era of New York Giant football. It's a new era for this franchise. This is a chance for to turn away a very dark period of the football team.
Well, even the season too, when you think of how chaotic and how it took a nosedive. And now it's like now you're just pumped. You're pumped for the off season. You're pumped for the draft. You're pumped for training camp.
From the moment that Coughlin had been gone and that era of Giant football with 2 Super Bowl championships when he was there and Eli and all that, from the moment Coughlin left, the franchise hasn't been the same on almost every level. They've made the playoffs twice in that span of all of those awful coaches and records that I just read off to you. They've tried different quarterbacks. They've tried different coaches. They've tried different GMs. They've tried nothing has worked. This is their first time that they are bringing a proven winner into their organization since Coughlin left. And I think that is massive for them and is going to change their fortunes. And it's a good day to be a New York Giant fan. He's going to bring allegedly Monken with him as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, heard that.
And look, and some would say, oh, you mean you guys, you cry about how Monken, dealt with Lamar and then didn't use Henry enough and all those things. And you're right. Those are 100% maybe concerns. But honestly, as I said to you last week, it doesn't matter. That stuff you'll figure out down the road. You needed this guy in your building and in your organization. And, Dart, Monken will be good with a young player like Dart. I think, do I love his play calling sometimes in certain situations? No. But he also has a track record of working with young quarterbacks, doing fairly well with them. So I will defer to that if I were a Giant fan.
And it's a weak division.
You say it's a weak division. It's a weak division as well.
It's a weak conference.
And I thought this was interesting too, from the Joe Shane aspect from Ian O'Connor. After Harbaugh had his first real conversation with Joe Shane, he was telling people he could work with him. Harbaugh definitely had roster influence concerns, and they were addressed. Shane all but made up for his 13-38 record as a general manager in these last 9 days. Shane really put the press on and helped the Maras and et cetera make this happen. I'm sure, saying in these meetings, you're going to have a lot of influence. Anything to keep your job, Paulie. Anything to keep your Joe Shane.
What do you want?
Anything to keep your job. Oh, you mean I get to stay the GM? You just got to tell me a couple of guys that okay. I'll stay on. That sounds good to me.
You want a house in the Hamptons on the water?
That's all. You got it. That's all fine and good. So, congratulations to the Giants and their fans. Day. Big Giant day for all of them. All right, we do have 4 football games this weekend.
Nice.
That we have to get into because it is what I always feel, Paulie, is the best weekend of the NFL season. Obviously, next week's awesome. It's conference championships and the Super Bowl's great, and I love the regular season. This is truly these 4 games, the 8 best teams left. Usually, it's very rare that you have someone who doesn't deserve to be here. You have the best of the bunch and 4 great matchups, intriguing matchups, and that's what we have here in the NFL divisional round. And it all starts Saturday at 4:30 p.m. East in Denver, where the Buffalo Bills will meet the Denver Broncos. We know the deal with the Bills. Big win in Jacksonville last week. Years and years and years of the Sean McDermott, Josh Allen led Bills, and finally needing to get over the hump this year and finally needing to get to the Super Bowl. And they get matched up with the team that had the first round bye, number 1 seed in the AFC this year. Some would tell you maybe one of the weakest 1 seeds ever. Some would say that to you.
Some would say.
Some would say very, very good defense. An offense that's kind of pedestrian, but has had a weird knack for coming back in the fourth quarter this year. They've got a lot of fourth quarter comebacks. You remember the Giant game where they were down huge.
I do.
They have a bunch of games where they rallied in the fourth quarter. Sean Payton, of course, head coach. Bills opened up as a slight 1.5-point favorite. this is kind of flipped. I've now seeing Denver 1.5 in some places. It seems like it's going to be around the pick'em Denver 1.5 kind of range. The Bills and the Broncos, Paulie. Josh Allen keep the ride going into conference championship week and get a win on the road in Mile High.
Yes.
Yes, you're taking the Bills.
Yes.
Paulie taking the Bills.
Yeah.
To get it done.
I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a close game. I think
it's gonna be a close game.
I think it'll be a close game, but I think
it's
I'm just pulling for Josh getting this far, and Bo Nix and everything that's going on in Denver. Great program there. They're definitely a team to be reckoned with in the future, and they've had a great season. And look, they earned their spot here, and they could certainly win this game, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do. But I'd love to see the Bills go to the next step and get a little closer.
Well, I asked you first because I think you know what I'm going to say.
Of course.
I think you know where I'm at.
I know what you're going to say. I know you're going to be watching the game.
You know where I'm at on this game. I obviously have a strong emotional attachment.
But you sound a little really overly confident in this matchup as opposed to maybe last weekend.
I actually do feel better about this matchup than last week. I thought that last week was going to be super difficult for them because of the Jaguars' run defense. I thought that the Jaguars did some things offensively that could hurt the Bills. And by the way, they did. They just didn't stay with it. They showed they could run all over the Bills, and for some reason they stopped doing it in the second half. Denver doesn't have that strong of a running game.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. Denver, as great as their defense is, and it's a great unit, the Bills in the playoffs last year ran on them. I mean, they ran the ball all over Denver in that game in Orchard Park. And some would say, well, that was that team's first playoff experience, and it was on the road.
Is most of that defense from last year intact here in
Denver? I mean, they've added a piece or two, so they're probably maybe they're a hair better than they were last year, and that's fine. They're remember, I'm saying this, a very, very good defense, the Denver Broncos. They're also playing the best in the business. Who I got to tell you, if he pulls this off, I mean, he's going to have to take bodies off the street to dress at wide receiver. They have 3 healthy wideouts going into this game. They might get Curtis Samuel back as a 4th. They've lost Shavers and Gabe Davis off of last week. They're going to have to play a guy in Keon Coleman, who they basically, exiled in the middle of the year and didn't want him playing anymore. If he pulls this rabbit out of his hat over the next couple of weeks and actually does this for the Bills, he truly is Superman. And I do believe that the Bills defense, as much as I have talked bad about them over the past couple of months, they are the perfect type of defense against this Denver team because the Denver team doesn't run the ball as good as other teams. And Bo Nix, he's still a second-year quarterback. And one thing Sean McDermott's very good at is disguising coverages, confusing. You need to be a strong veteran presence back there to deal with the Sean McDermott scheme. And the Bills do have a very strong pass defense. I could see the Bills defense, like they did last week against Trevor Lawrence, cause a couple of turnovers. They're going to need to win this game. Cause a couple turnovers. Josh does what he does. And the Bills find a way in Denver. And they have everything against them. Injuries. Rest versus, I think John put it as rest versus rust in this, which is not a bad way to put it. I mean, we're talking 6 days rest going, and then they got to fly from Buffalo to Denver. You're talking altitude, which Allen does know. Remember, went to college in Wyoming, has played well every time he's been in Denver and played against the Broncos. So I don't think that this is something that's going to bother Josh Allen. I think that they're saying they're the better team 1-53 might not be enough. Because Denver probably is overall, because of their defense, the better team. But the Bills are better in the one position that matters the most this time of year. And in a game where I don't think it's that overwhelming that Denver's better than Buffalo, it's the guy who's got the ball in his hand that I think is going to get the job done.
Approach.
And that is number 17,
Experience.
Josh Allen. And Bo Nix has had some great fourth quarter comebacks this year. This is the playoffs. This is a whole nother world. So I'm taking the Bills, Paulie, and I'm with you. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's like last week at Jacksonville. It's down to the end. And I just feel like they're going to find a way to get through this and get back to the AFC title game.
Now, if the Bills win, and the Texans win,
Yeah.
Bills host.
No. Game's in
No?
Houston.
Get out.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Bills can't go. They can't host anything. They're done. The only team.
Oh, really?
The only
there was
team.
a chance there, right?
The only team they would have hosted if they played was the Chargers. That was the
Okay.
only team they were ahead of on the seeding.
All right. I thought maybe we'd have
No,
an extra
and
magical
Houston
moment
has
there.
been a house of horrors for them. I don't want to talk about that yet
Yeah.
because I want to get through Saturday.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about what happens here, what happens there. They have a very tough opponent on Saturday in the Denver Broncos. I think they're going to find a way to do it. I like the way they've handled this week. There's a lot of things the Bills could have bellyached about, like the San Francisco 49ers have bellyached about, and the Bills haven't done it. It's been very business, workmanlike. We're here to do a job. We've been here. We've played 1 billion playoff games over the last 5 years. We know what's at stake. We know what we have to do. They're going to get it done.
Yeah,
That's how I feel.
Throw the kitchen sick at them. You know, just with all the other variables that we've been talking along the way here,
Right.
and where Josh Allen is here, and who's not in the playoffs now. You know, the remaining steps to get there, and knowing how hard it is to get back to this position, and then, like I said, with all the variables that will be back in play next season and everything else. So, hey, like I said, I'm pulling for the Bills. I think it'd be great to see them get into the championship game and get.
Sure would. It would be great.
I know for you too.
It would be great. So
You know.
Bills Broncos first game, second game Saturday night, Niners and Seahawks. Same spot here. Seattle, the 1 seed, rest. Niners coming off a road win, short week, just like the Bills, Sunday to Saturday. Have to go on the road. Little not as long a flight as Buffalo to Denver is, but from San Fran up to Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And they just played too, which is another thing. They played the last game of the regular season, which had everything on the table, and with that the Seahawks went to San Francisco and won. I think the Seahawks are going to win. I don't think it's going to be easy. I thought that they really took care of them that last Saturday night game. Defensively, they shut down the Niner offense that had really been cooking. I didn't think the Niner defense played poorly in that game. They just got nothing out of the offense. And it's going to be tougher with no Kittle. I think the Niners are in this thing. And the same thing. I think there is something to. I know that people make a deal about this rest and then there's rust. And I think that Kyle Shanahan's going to have the Niners ready to go here on Saturday night. I think he's going to have a good game plan. I think if he gets the same defensive effort he got in that game 2 weeks ago, he's going to score more points. And this game's going to be closer. I love the Niners with this touchdown. It's +7, +7.5. If you can grab that, that would even be better. I think Seattle finds a way at the end, but I think the Niners have every opportunity to go into Seattle on Saturday night and win this game. This is not going to be any type of blowout or 1 versus 6. They're going to crush them. I think that the Niners are here to play.
Yeah, I think the Niners are going to tighten things up defensively, play a little better. Purdy's just continuing with his confidence here, playing very well. And I think, Shanahan's going to have him prepared, as you said. And I think the Seahawks got a little lucky last time they played them. And I think, like I said, I think the Niners more or less shot themselves in the foot in terms of the way they played defensively. So they clean up their act there. And I think Purdy, is the factor here. I mean, Donaldson's great too. Well, it should be a great game. Hopefully it is a great game. I'll take the Niners in the end.
Niners to win.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now look, I get it. And there's still, this guy has now reached, you got to prove it category. And that's Sam Darnold. Like he's got to prove it. He's back-to-back years of 13+ wins, was awful in a playoff game against the Rams last year. This is another opportunity for him to show something. And the thing is, they could win this game with him having a pedestrian effort because they're such a good team. He's got to show up. He's got to play well. He really does. And if
I think the Niners defense just has to play better. That's my opinion. If they play better,
God, they played well against Philly on Sunday. They played. Now someone will say, "Well, look at the Eagle offense. It had all kinds of problems." All right, well,
but in terms of
we got to give them
their
credit
last
too.
Game against Seattle,
yes,
playing them this time. If the Niners play better defense, I think they'll outlast Donald.
Yeah. I didn't think they played that bad in that game. I mean, it was 13. It was 13-3 that game. I thought that they played well that night. I thought that for how bad the Niner defense was coming down the stretch, these last 2 weeks, the Eagle game and the Seahawk game, now I thought that they have really stepped up considering what they were doing. I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I think if they get the same defensive effort they've gotten the last 2 weeks, they absolutely can win this game outright. Outright win if they can get the same defensive effort. I need a little bit more from their offense in this game.
I think you'll get it.
Their offense
Yeah.
is what you need. You need a better McCaffrey. McCaffrey wasn't good in that Saturday night game against the Seahawks. Purdy, they were going in. Purdy had that ball that went off the guy's hands and got picked off.
I think that game is going to help them here. That game that they lost is going to help them.
Tough to beat a team twice in 3 weeks. It's tough to do.
I think just
twice in 2 weeks. Really now. I mean, you're talking, for the Niners, it's twice in 3 games. Seattle hasn't played anyone since that game. They had a week off, and now they're playing the Niners again. So that's always a very tricky spot.
Go Niners.
When you get to it. I think Seahawks win, Niners cover. That's where I'm going to go. You think Niners win outright. Let everybody know what's going on at Borrelli's, and then we'll do the other 2 games on Sunday. And then, of course, the college football playoff game on Monday night. Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio, Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island.
Once again, we are broadcasting live from Borrelli's Taproom here in Long Beach, on Long Island, New York, 912 West Beach Street. Live music every weekend here at Borrelli's, and it starts off tomorrow night at 7 p.m. with Logan Wally. And then it's on Saturday, you got Ken from Current and Company. He'll be live at 4 p.m. And then at 7 p.m., Sean Jacoby will be here Saturday night, topped off with DJ TM Select at 10 p.m. So fun Friday night and fun Saturday night here in and around the football that's going to be played this weekend as well, too. And then Sunday, fun day, always here at Borrelli's. Is always a great time. Anthony Gall is going to be here at 5 p.m. live, and then followed up with DJ TM Select to close out the evening. Again, just a great weekend of football coming up. Monday night, obviously, the big championship game here, college football. Make sure you get down here for all the drink specials and food. It's going to be a blast. And then the theme music's return here. Live music Wednesday, Billy Joel night here. Songs from an Italian restaurant. So at 7 o'clock. Free admission, $21 pasta special, and half price on all bottles of wine. And then on Wednesday, the debut of Sinatra Serenade. Same thing, free, 7 o'clock. Great menu on tap for that. So come on down and check that out. And then the comedy series resumes here on Tuesday, January 27th with Joe List. Limited tickets left for that. And it was a great night last year with Anthony Rodia, too. That was a packed house. So there you go. Comedy, live music, in and around all the sports and all the football. Borrelli's is closed tonight, Thursday. So don't come down here. They're going to have their staff appreciation day, to just cap off the end of January. And they had a great 2025. So that's that. And don't forget, any time of the week, any day of the week, come down to Borrelli's, mention the Carver and Cuthbert podcast, and you get a free Miller Lite draft.
Come on.
Don't forget that. Anytime. All right?
That's incredible. That's worth just coming through the door right there.
There you go.
Getting that going in. All right. Let's finish this off. Sunday now. 2 games. Gave you the Saturday games, NFL divisional weekend. Texans and Patriots, just after 3 o'clock East. This game's on ESPN, ABC. This is now moved to Patriots minus 3.5 with a low total, 40.5. Very, very interesting matchup here, Paulie. The Patriots have obviously gotten very fat this year on what everybody has perceived to be a very soft schedule. They have, and look, the Chargers went in last week, and the Chargers weren't very good. The Chargers were pathetic offensively.
Man, you are really burying the Chargers.
I'm sorry. It was what it was. Herbert was awful. It wasn't good. And I mean, they gave him no time. It was just a really tough night all around. The Texans, of course, come in with what everybody perceives to be the best defense in the playoffs. Now, Denver has an argument for that. Seattle has an argument for that. There are other teams that have an argument for that, but they have looked so good. And it helps that they were playing a statue Monday night in Aaron Rodgers and were able to really, in the second half, bear down and lean on him and rough him up. I am fascinated to see May against this Texan defense. May is an MVP candidate this year. Patriots have won 14 games there. I don't know if he's played a defense this good this season. As we mentioned, their schedule, not great. I mean, you just go and look, of who they've played. Is anybody even on par with that level? No, not really. There's the Browns, Falcons, Bucks, Jets, Bengals, Giants. Ravens D was bad. Jets again, Dolphins, but Bills twice. Even the Chargers last week, a very good secondary, but they were able to get worn down a little bit there. Huge test for May coming up on Sunday afternoon.
So, I love my Texans.
Do rock the red, right?
I've also liked what Vrabel and May's done this year. Great team, great squad. Very well-balanced team on both sides of the ball. Mm-hmm. What scares me is Stroud the other night.
He looked real bad.
And it's putting a lot on the Texans defense, which they can handle it. There's no better defense in the league as far as I'm concerned that can handle it. I'm concerned about the offensive side of the ball.
Okay.
And I think the Patriots might have the advantage there. And I think the Pats are going to pull this off. And I hate to go against the Texans. And look, I'm going to be rooting hard for the Texans. I want them to win. But I just think in New England and Vrabel's experience and May, I think May, he's playing above that whole young kid, rookie kind of type of player.
Right.
I think he's a very smart quarterback. He's got great assets. And I think in the end, there's just going to be more offense. And he's also a lot more mobile than Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah.
He can run. He can move. And I think that's something that, the Texans took advantage of that with the Steelers last week. And I think in the end, I think the Patriots are just going to have too much for the Texans defense to handle. And I
agree.
And I'm just concerned about Stroud, the way he played last week.
I think the Pats are going to win. I think the Pats are the better team. The Pats are the more complete team. I think that this line maybe should even be a little bit bigger. I think it's not because of how they looked against Rodgers on Monday night. I think it maybe should be a little bit more than 3.5. I think it's a low-scoring game, just like the Patriots played against the Chargers last Sunday night. I think it's in that elk. But I think that the Patriots find a way to, I'm not going to say comfortably, but I think that they're the better team. And I think that their offense will find some ways, whether it's they do some different things with May. They have Henderson and Stevenson in the backfield that they can kind of utilize. Steelers just had nothing offensively in that game.
Yeah, and speaking of that,
nothing.
I think that's going to be the difference. I'll disagree with you in the fact I think the Patriots are going to score more points.
Okay.
Because the Texans defense had to work really hard last week.
Yeah.
And they would get the ball back for Stroud, and then they would 3 and out, and they're back on the field.
Right.
Back on the field.
Yeah, that matters.
There was a lot of wear and tear last week. And I think if May and his offense can do that, I just think they're going to have more opportunities.
Yeah.
And I think the Patriots are going to score more on their opportunities as opposed to what the Steelers were unable to do last week.
Right. No, absolutely. And look, Texans, like the Bills and the Niners, are short rest. Monday to they're also short rest. Road Monday night, going, and it's not the same as Buffalo and San Francisco. It's not a rest versus rust because the Patriots played on Sunday also, so that you don't have that same element. And I think it matters more when you get into that. I like the Pats.
Go Pats.
I think the Pats get it, which means I think Pats Bills AFC title game next week, round 3 between the Pats and the Bills. I think for it, which would be
that'd be nice. It's old school, baby.
Be a hell of a game. Allen and May, they played 2 great games this year, and we'll see if we get a third, round 3 between the Patriots and the Bills. The late game, final game of the weekend, Bears and Rams in Chicago. I mentioned this to you yesterday, and it's gotten more and more that it sounds like the wind chill is going to be in the minus 10 area. Could be some snow, gusty winds. Chicago in January weather for the LA Rams to have to deal with here. The Bears are on as great a magic carpet ride as you've seen all year long. And sometimes the teams that get on rides like that, they just continue. I think the Rams are the better team, but this is a tough ask for them. And it's a tough ask. You know what it is, Paulie? I said this to you yesterday. There's a lot of these guys have all played in cold weather. They've all played in snow. I gave you the Devontae Adams played in Green Bay and all, Puka played at BYU and Provo, Utah. All these guys have done it. But the numbers are pretty stark for Stafford in these colder environments and cold weather, elements, things like that. And Stafford in Chicago's got a brutal record. Obviously played there a lot when he was with the Detroit Lions. It kind of like feeds into this Bear magic carpet ride narrative that the Stafford's coming in a below zero game. I think the Rams are the better team, but I don't know if I could get in front of the Bears right now with what they're doing. It's just, it's weird and it's magic. There's no way to really explain it.
I'm going to take Johnson outdoing McVay.
Whoa.
I have to believe, we've talked about it because it's just played out this way. The Bears have been very lucky. And again, they've come out on top on amazing performances by, their players here.
Well, look, they've been very opportunistic with turnovers on defense.
I just think this is going to be the first time. I think they can do it against the Rams. I think they can play a complete game here, get up in points, maybe a 2-point lead here, two score lead here, hold it and keep it. I'm just going to go with the Bears all one-sided here. I respect the Rams, love Stafford, good team. No doubt he'll have them in play there at some point. I just think the Bears so close here, and I just think they're going to play a complete game. I think they end up winning this game at least by a touchdown and not have any worries in the end for the first time in a while.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a Bear game if that happened.
I know.
There's going to be some kind of craziness to this game.
They got to give the fans, a little less cardiac stuff here.
I don't think I have the onions to lay 4 with the Rams, but I think the Rams are going to win.
All right.
I'm taking the Rams, finding a way in Chicago in the cold. I'm the only guy that I'm even a little questionable about in this weather is Stafford. He's the only guy that I'm a little questionable about. I don't have any problem with anybody else. All these guys have always, and he's the most important guy, so that matters. But played it in Philly last year in the playoffs, cold, snowy game, and they just came up short. I think this is a different kind of cold in Chicago on Sunday night, to be quite honest with you. But
I think the Bears defense is really going to be the difference.
Now, they're not a great unit statistically. They give up a lot of yards and points, but they are so good at turning the ball over. Yeah. They're so good. It's just that's what is such a swing. And in the playoffs, it's such a momentum swinger when you can get turnovers. And the Bears are so good at it. I'm going to take the Rams to win, but I don't have the stones to lay the 4.
All right.
I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a typical zany Bear game, kind of down to the end. But this time the Rams, and I'll probably be wrong because I said the Bears are like the Washington from last year. I feel like, and Washington went to the NFC title game and got on a run. But maybe it's just all the Ram tickets that I have for futures, and maybe I'm letting the future do the talking a little bit here. But I'm going to take the Rams. I just don't have the stones to lay the 4. So that means I think it'll be Rams, Seahawks, NFC title game. And you think it'll be Niners, Bears.
I do.
NFC title game. We have completely different matchups.
But we win all together. We win because either way, they're all going to be great games.
No
great
question.
Matches, so.
No question. But that's pretty good. We have 2 completely different matchups for the NFC title game. I will go with the chalk, Seahawks, Rams. You will go out on a limb with Niners, Bears.
Okay.
But we both say Bills, Patriots.
Yes.
Both on Bills, Patriots for the AFC side of things.
Yes.
All right, there you go. NFL divisional playoff weekend, one of the best weekends ever. And this is really it. It's over after this. You got 3 games left in the season. 2 title games in the Super Bowl.
We can focus on the New York Rangers season.
Oh, man, they're just giving you a lot.
We don't have time for that because
we're
going to get a big college football game coming up.
All right, let's do that first. Monday night, college football championship in Miami. Hoosiers and Hurricanes. of course, everybody's billing this, and it is. It's obviously Miami's playing in their home stadium at Hard Rock. It's not a home game, Paulie, in terms of the place is going to be 95% filled with Miami Hurricane fans. This is a national title game where tickets are divvied to each school, and there will be plenty of Indiana contingent
There will be
down in South Beach at Hard Rock. So this is not like Indiana's walking into a Lions Den here and playing a very pro Miami crowd. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that there's going to be more Indiana fans in the building than Miami fans at the end of the day. But you know what? It is South Beach. Maybe I think at minimum 50-50. Maybe I'm going too far with that. There's going to be plenty of Indiana love in that building. This number's ballooned up to 8.5. I even saw a 9 yesterday at one point. It was 5.5 on the look ahead before Indiana thrashed Oregon. And now it's ballooned all the way up to that. Are they going to do it again? Are they just going to maul through another team on their way to a national championship? Kurt Cignetti, Fernando Mendoza, and the Indiana Hoosiers. Miami's been very good to me, Paulie, the last couple of weeks. But unfortunately for them, it's all over, baby. This is done. Donezo. Now, this is probably a bad thing. I think that my smash job predictions around here are probably not even at the 50% rate. I'm good with the other ones, but the smash jobs haven't been very good. I think it's just like the other games. I think Indiana's going to roll them.
I think the only way Indiana loses this game is if Miami forces Fernando and the rest of the squad to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Which I just haven't seen Indiana do. I haven't seen them sweat. They've just been an absolute complete machine. You got two incredibly intense coaches here, great on both sides of this. I think that whole lead up to this game is going to be good. I hope it's a close game. I imagine it will be. But in the end, I think offensively and defensively, regardless of paper, whatever, just watching the way they play, it would just have to be. There would have to be just a complete collapse on the Indiana side mentally. And that's no disrespect to Miami. They earned their keep here. They earned their spot in this. It's exciting that it's going to be in Miami. It's going to be like the whole everything that's going into this game is going to be exciting. And sometimes a team can that's maybe not as equally talented to the other team can take that energy, can take that underdog kind of situation here and turn it up. And if, like I said, if they can cause trouble for Fernando Mendoza here and just put him in a game situation he hasn't experienced for a few weeks right now. And I think that's the only way Miami wins this, if they can get to him, rough him up, hurt him, for God's sakes, make him sweat. Every post game I've seen, the hair's perfect. It doesn't even look like he's played a football game. So Miami gets to him. I think that's the only way they win this game.
Miami has the defensive line to do this. Look, there's one glaring thing here that if you want to back Miami, I can get behind. And that is the lines, which is, of course, the trenches, the down low. Miami's defensive line has really had a unbelievable playoff in all three of these games: Texas A&M, Ohio State, and then Ole Miss. Their defensive line has gotten after it. They have been dominant, and it's possible that they can do that. And on the other side of the ball, I've seen this thrown around a lot the last few days. Miami's offensive line, I mean, they're like giants compared to the Indiana defensive line. So are they going to dominate them on that side? Now, look, if generally speaking, you win the battle on both sides of the line of scrimmage, on both sides of the ball, you're going to have a chance to win the football game. So if Miami, that is their key to victory here on Monday night. Can they get in the trenches on both sides and win those battles? And if they do, this game will be close. But I just think Indiana's got that something special. And this Cignetti has done an unbelievable job. And I think he's going out. He's playing it. It's going to be just like the last couple games against Bama and against Oregon. He's looking to drop the hammer on these teams and leave no doubt. And I think you're going to see that again on Monday night. Bad news maybe for Miami.
But Miami could be that team, different from any of the other teams that were in the playoffs here, that can get to Indiana.
Sure.
And I think you nailed it before.
For that reason, for those,
their
yeah.
front line, their defensive line.
Yeah, I think both sides of the ball. I think their defensive line and their offensive line, if both of their line units can control the game, Miami,
it's the only way they're
because
win.
Miami's path here is the same path that they've had in these other games. They want to smash the football. They want to run the football. And I know Beck was better against Ole Miss. He had to do a little bit more throwing. They want to run. And that big offensive line is going to have to dominate Indiana's defensive line and let them run the football, run clock, keep Mendoza and the Indiana offense off the field, long drives, make sure you get points on those long drives, and they'll be in the game. And on the other side, bust through the Indiana O-line and cause Mendoza problems. As you said, never looks like he breaks a sweat in these games. I mean, that's a lot of stuff there. But that is the recipe for Miami on Monday night. And they have the athletes and the guys up front on both of those sides to do it. I'm not getting in front of Indiana anymore. I'm not doing it.
And on top of that, Beck's pretty much got to be perfect.
Right. And I thought he was very good against Ole Miss. I thought Beck was very good against Ole Miss. He needed to make some plays, and he did. And Cignetti over Cristobal is such an advantage too. Cristobal's a rockhead, and Cignetti, I feel like, has done. This is going to be the crown for him. Of what is an amazing year, taking a team that has been a doormat of college football for 60, 70 years and making them in 2 years a national champion. I don't see that story not getting written.
Monday night, baby.
Monday
Fire
night.
it up.
For everybody there. We didn't get to spend a lot of time. Rangers got just embarrassed at the Garden.
You want to hear my conspiracy theory?
Sure.
To close the show out.
Give me the conspiracy theory.
I think they're intentionally losing.
Oh, you're tanking.
No, I think Drury and Sully, this is part of their plan.
They want to get fired.
No,
okay.
I don't think they're getting fired. I don't think they're going anywhere. I think there's a situation being set up here to kind of get Zibanejad out, Panarin out, Lafreniere out. I think they're going to hang on to JT Miller, and I think they're going to change a different team around this team.
Okay. All right. You got to have something. I mean,
that's the only reason, right?
It's been so bad. I don't know what, I'm not sure what more it could be.
Chesty and Fox really aren't hurt. Miller's fine. He's a great leader. All right. He's just holding back here.
Yeah, I don't see it. It's just a lost year. Isles are in Edmonton tonight against the Oilers. Devils play tonight? I think that they do. Who do the Devils have tonight? They might be off, actually. I was going through all the games this morning. Devils are off. The Devils are playing again tomorrow. No, they actually got a couple days off here, the Devils. They are at home for the Hurricanes on Saturday. The Devs.
Have fun, man. It's pretty bleak there on Broadway.
Leafs Knights tonight in Vegas. Good game.
Anybody but the Leafs for me.
I think the Leafs win tonight.
Yeah.
Vegas, second night of a back-to-back. They played in L.A. last night, won that overtime game. Toronto's won 7 of their last 10. They're playing well. I can get behind Toronto tonight. It's a little,
I'm on the Blue Jackets wagon, man. Let's go.
Well, there you go. Blue Jackets, Bones. Get Bones going. They're big favorites tonight, too, against Vancouver, right? Yeah, Vancouver at home. Columbus, big favorite tonight in that game. Enjoy all the football this weekend. It'll be a lot of fun. Congratulations again to the Giant fans on getting their coach and
Thank you, Mike.
Turning a new page.
We appreciate it.
Of New York Giant football
Thank
today.
you very much.
John Harbaugh now being the guy there. We will be back next week, Wednesday and Thursday. Go Sports Radio, Carver and Cuthbert from Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. Paulie already told you should come at any time and mention the show, and you get a Miller Lite draft.
Let's go.
So
Get
that's
down here.
Good enough reason in itself to make sure that you swing by. Paulie, have a great weekend. Enjoy it. We'll see you next week. Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio, Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach. See you next week.